So basically in this video, well, honestly I would like to tell you Happy New Year. But that's not all, because I would like to talk about this year and some other stuff. But if you're not interested in, then leave. So basically New Year's is a holiday after Christmas occurring near every end and start of every year. Basically, some people deploying fireworks in their home and celebrating their New Year's with the countdown from 60 to 0 and then saying Happy New Year when the time hits at midnight in their locations respectively. Basically, the brief synopsis of New Year's celebration is: it was first suggested and created by one of the oldest civilizations like the Babylons and Mesopotamians. It was first celebrated on March 1st since at the time there were 10 months in 1 year. Then according to the Roman legends, they suggested adding January and February. Therefore, I guess making up what would be in the Gregorian calendar today. As time went on, other calendars were created celebrating the New Year's in their respective dates as well. China, both Korea, Saudi Arabia, India, Iran, Oman, the UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait also celebrate New Year's on different dates other than January 1st. There are varying and other altered traditions for New Year's, as well as their own names for New Year's. In reality, I think some famous people were born on January 1st too, like Morris Chestnut or Katrina Lal, and others. Some tropical cyclones on New Year's occur, with one of the most recent ones being Cyclone Calvinia and Cyclone Sarai. Now back to my perspective. Now here's a brief synopsis of this year. By the way, don't try to make me stress, because I promise I won't get too political or make ugly comments, so please respect my honest opinion so I can respect yours. Otherwise, if nobody cares, and if me making an opinion is that much of a useless choice, I'll just private or delete this video to tell us this nonsense if it even did happen. Anyways, moving along. As 2020 started already, some terrible things were adding up as the first few seconds of 2020 ticked. Australian wildfires, UK and the EU leaving transition, Hong Kong protests, and the Persian Gulf War, which was another really close attempt to entering World War III. Next month worsening as the COVID-19 emerges from China to the whole wide world. Later, several cancellations happened as the Tokyo 2020 Furry Conventions, TwitchCon, North American Auto Show, and other of these related events were cancelled. Well, to be honest, I don't even like anime at all, so please don't harass me for saying this. Other military events like the Vietnamese Reunification Day was cancelled. Some other events were postponed. The political events in some cases, some were cancelled or delayed, as some others still occurred regardless. The 2020 US presidential election still occurred regardless of the virus, for example. And finally, some events that were cancelled, but they were to still occur online with no crowd. Most cinemas were shut down and most movies were cancelled or to be released online. Video games were mostly released online first. Meanwhile, most TV shows were to be switched into an online podcast, like Jimmy Fallon's Tonight Show at one point. But before the virus became unstable, the 2020 Super Bowl still happened in early February 2020, with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. I chose the Kansas City Chiefs as they won while they were losing at first with terrible gameplay patterns, but redeeming themselves at the last minute. But then on March 11, 2020, the virus became unstable. It became unstable as it became the new pandemic, with careless people and suicidal people killing themselves and others killing each other as murder from the virus itself. And then there was no other option but to shut down most of society and quarantine everyone. But the day before Doomsday, I and several other people shopped like crazy, buying several foods to last for months and clothes to make masks. After that, I went to shop again with my mask on and buying several stuff again. That I still have currently. While on quarantine day 1, a new massacre on YouTube occurred as several people made new forces to network as YouTube comment bots. Beginning with Traptown NCS, then with Tom, then Zimmertrax, Vaxi, Logan, Vionic, Cine, LJH, Prixie, Little King Ryan, and several others. First with the infamous line, "You wanna be friends?" And then, "Love it!" Then those comments try to act human when really they're not, as in reality their plans backfire, making a quote-unquote hacker cartel on YouTube, lasting up until early July, as several YouTubers like the Brett Burns, Timeworks, Some Ordinary Gamers, and other small YouTubers, and even myself made several updates on them, calling the bots out several times until they eventually gave up. At the same time, most of the notorious YouTubers rised up to annoy everyone in the YouTube community, such as Tech, Glacial, and Lisa Gaming Roblox, with them being toxic to the YouTube and Roblox community, and also clickbaiting people for easy and cheap views. The scheme strategy was weak in reality, as Tech gave up and changed ownerships to someone else, after being told off several times. While this monstrosity happened, the virus numbers began to clinically and dangerously rise up in a very large record-breaking growth rate, being broken several times throughout this year. The death toll rised up too. During quarantine, several social media platforms like Twitch and Discord rised up in numbers of users. Later, Twitter began on a downfall as several Twitter accounts were compromised for fun to promote a Bitcoin giveaway scam. Several memes and trends began to die off quickly as a fad, with other YouTubers doing stupid stuff for comedy and doing things like "do not click in this video with your finger" trends. Comedy at this point was dying off as some people tried to redefine it, but failed miserably at this point. Meanwhile, in late May, some disturbance broke out as George Floyd was assassinated, with several people shouting, "Black Lives Matter! Shut up! All lives matter! No more white silence!" And then they began to do arson for no reason, just to say those things. The words were being spread throughout the whole wide world. Toxic increased and also crime this year. Meanwhile, some other events happened, as I couldn't recall all of them, but that's fine because meanwhile, during May to November, a record-breaking season occurred, with 2020 Atlantic hurricane season being the most active, as 26 storms break the other records for the earliest formation dates, from Cristobal to Edward to Iota. September had 10 storms forming, from Nana to Beta, breaking the old record of 8 in 2002, tied with other years. Iota being the latest Category 5, breaking the Cuba or Kamagui hurricane of 1932. In total of 30 storms, 13 hurricanes, and 6 majors. Meanwhile, during hurricane season times, the Roblox community began on the downfall, with developers making useless, unnecessary updates that no one even cared about, nor did they even like one bit. Meanwhile, new games like Animal Crossing New Horizons, Fall Guys, Among Us, and Cyberpunk 2077 were released to pass the times of quarantine and also to kill time. During the holidays, people made mock-up songs of Christmas and Thanksgiving and COVID. Like, for example, "We wish you a Merry COVID and a vaccinated New Year." And now we're here waiting for something next, for anything to happen. This is all I have to say in this synopsis. In other words, but this is only for me, as 2020, my year, was the best year for this channel, as I uploaded several videos for quick and cheap views and subscribers. For 2020 for everyone, I know for me personally has been the worst year ever in my whole entire life. And it might not happen again, or could it? And yes, I know it's a cliffhanger. I already know it's a cliffhanger. So maybe the same thing might happen in 2021 or might not happen in a very long time. But I don't know. So we'll see how this goes, and also depends on us. Continuing on, I only fell into slight depression during the start of quarantine, did not get exposed to coronavirus, and staying home for the majority of 2020. And I guess this is all I have to say in the special production. I hope you enjoyed my New Year's special. So I guess, therefore, goodbye for now.